Most people we meet in our lives only tell a fraction of their full story, and even that is subjective based on our own perception of them. We rarely get to see the full picture, yet despite that, we love forming our own false realities around them. And when we don't see them come to life, we feel dissatisfied. The ending of Firewatch also ends in a similar manner, which might feel inconclusive, but I assure you it's quite intended. You see, much of what happens during gameplay is irrelevant compared to what has already happened. Here we are witnessing the characters in a state of transition, uncertain about the next chapter of their lives. It's an extremely real and mature storytelling experience set in the backdrop of a beautiful wilderness and seen through the eyes of a man whose in-game model looks more like a 6-year-old. There is genuine buildup of tension and mystery, constantly making you think something larger is at play. But no, it's just a grounded story rooted in reality where our expected conclusions don't always come to fruition. It's about people running away from their issues only to confront them again after their legs give up. The personalities depicted here feel human. They are flawed and are holding on to a past memory, unable to progress their own lives. Well, nothing lasts forever. Even a forest that once glittered in its various colors gets deprived of them in the end, so life will eventually move on towards the next phase. A part of me also wishes that the game would let go of this narrative complexity and focus more on the fantastic setting that could have been a background for more imaginative ideas. If there's one thing that From Software does better than any other company in the industry, it's art direction. So many jaw-dropping vistas and scenic, thought-provoking locations. The fact that they're still able to deliver this level of quality is nothing short of remarkable. Elden Ring is no different in that regard. I have beaten it thrice now, and I can safely say this is their most inviting work yet. I already talked about the game's ambition in an essay I wrote a few weeks ago, but I didn't mention the fact that it feels much more friendlier as well. If you have played previous FromSoft titles, you might know what I'm talking about. Bloodborne, Dark Souls had such a dark, sinister vibe to them, and while we do see that in spaces here like the Shunning Grounds or Deep Root Depths, they still don't reach that level of horrific intensity. Maybe that's why I feel so much more inclined to replay Elden Ring over previous entries. It's just more charming and vibrant, not drenched in despair. It isn't perfect, there are still tons of balancing issues and very few unique boss encounters, not to mention that I feel like FromSoft had done better regarding that in previous entries, but overall I'm just happy that a game me and so many other players were hyped for not only lived up to expectations, it clearly exceeded them, man. Environmental storytelling is so underutilized in the gaming medium. I always wonder why companies that have dedicated art direction teams don't value leaving something to the player's imagination. I mean, just existing in a virtual world and taking in the rendered surroundings is an experience exclusive to the video games. So why are we not using it? This is where Return of the Obra Dinn comes in, except it wasn't made by a team, it was made by one guy, Lucas. Where other games fail to take the environment into consideration beyond its obvious graphical value, Obra Dinn heavily relies on it, not only to tell a story but also to fuel the gameplay alongside it. It is a narrative-driven detective simulation where you investigate the ship, finding remains of the deceased in an effort to go back in time to see their final fleeting memories. Utilizing this small window of information, you must accurately deduce what happened to them. Some of the early ones are designed intentionally to be straightforward, where the dead would name their killer outright in their dying breath or at least expose the position they hold. But later on, things will get pretty overwhelming, forcing you to analyze the scenario way beyond its initial scope. It's hard to talk about those later stages without spoiling it in some capacity, and knowing how niche this game is, I'm pretty sure a lot of people haven't played it. But be rest assured, from its visual presentation to its near flawless environmental design, investigating this vessel of tragedy is an experience like no other. In summary, it is a fascinating, imaginative, beautiful work of art that could only exist inside of a video game, and I applaud Lucas for his ability to take risks in a medium so dominated by companies creating whatever the current trend is.